So good morning, everyone, and welcome to another 1 Million Cups. We kick off with our special guest, Deb North of Yes Athletics. This presentation, let's take a few moments kind of just to share about what 1 Million Cups is all about and why we're gathered here today. 1 Million Cups was created by the Kauffman Foundation, which has a mission to support entrepreneurs by providing education, engagement, and connections with local communities. What started as just a small little tiny program in Kansas City has grown to over 163 communities now. Um, including right here in Chico, California, which we are proud to have our 1 Million Cups chapter. At its core, 1 Million Cups is a free bi-weekly program designed to empower and connect local entrepreneurs. It's a space where individuals can come together, share ideas, and seek and learn from one another. The goal of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education and resources to all entrepreneurs while also fostering a supportive community environment where ideas can flourish. So today we have a privilege of hearing from our special guest. We'll have about a 6-minute presentation. We'll go into like 15 to 20 minutes of Q&A, and then we'll have a wrap up from there. So without further ado, we can get right into it. But before we do, let's just give everybody opportunity. If you ever want to sign up and join 1 Million Cups and have a chance to present yourself, feel free to add this link, www.1millioncups.com/Chico. And thank you in advance, you guys. Let's get into a good one from Deb North. And I'll drop my screen, have you share yours, and we can get into it.
Perfect.
Of course.
All right. Okay, there we go. Can you guys see that?
Yep. You
Okay.
got it.
I'll stand up here. It's easier to present when you're standing up. So thanks again for having me. I was here. We launched in late 2020 and I was here probably in 2021. Interestingly enough, I'm in the Kansas City area, so I know all about the Kauffman Foundation. Just a little bit of history there if you guys don't know. Ewing Kauffman started Marion Labs, so that's the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation, and so or Marion Merrill Dow at the time. If you ever come to a Royals game, you will go watch them at the K or the Kauffman Stadium. So it's a great city. Little plug for my city there. So I'm Deb North. I'm the CEO and founder of Yes Athletics, and we were the first to market with wrestling shoes for girls. My daughter wanted to try the sport of wrestling. And so this was probably 2018. At the time, she walked into this room. She was 8 or 9 years old, only girl in the room. I would have never had the nerve to do that. So I was so inspired by the fact that she said yes to something scary, that's why we named our company Yes Athletics. So in that journey, we discovered that there was no wrestling shoes for girls. So here we are 50 years post Title IX, when women and girls had the opportunity to do sports, and we still don't have wrestling shoes for girls. So until now. So like I mentioned, we formed our company in 2019. We were ready to launch in the spring of 20. And of course, there was this global pandemic. So what was interesting about that journey was that I had to go back to the whole premise of our company. Nobody knew if we were going to have wrestling. It's a high contact sport. Everybody was supposed to be 6 feet apart. But because the premise of my company is about saying yes to scary things, we decided to launch. We ended up launching late in October of 2020. So 2021 has been our first full year in the business. So I would consider us still a startup, early growth company, whatever we want to say. These shoes here, these pink and purple ones, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but they were the first shoes. So what we wanted to do is find something fashionable and functional and in girl sizes. So these girls have been making the size comparison or transition for all these years, and now they don't have to. These are in girl sizes. So since we've launched several different styles from our first one, the Defiant 1. We just last fall launched the Defiant 2, so the next iteration of that. Last year we launched what's called the Beast Collection. So it's all about bringing your wild to the wrestling mat. And then of course we have the champion, which are worn by, Olympic hopeful athletes, college girls, a little more aggressive bottom for those, and power lifters wear those too. So this is wrestling's the fastest growing sport in the United States right now. California was one of the first states to sanction girls wrestling. We actually sell more shoes in California than anywhere else. So very interesting. One reason I wanted to come back is because your Play It Again Sports store there, so Play It Again Sports in Chico, has our shoes on their shelves. So amazingly, Play It Again Sports isn't just used products, they do have new products too. So go by there and say hi. Alex is the manager, and tell him you heard about that from 1 Million Cups. So girls wrestling's been growing about 61% year over year. There's about 50,000 girls in the high school level. Then you've got the youth, you've got colleges. When I started this business, there were 80 colleges with a varsity wrestling team. Now there's like 140 plus. So we're excited. We've experienced growth that's actually exceeded what is in the sport. So, but we're not only growing through sales, we're growing through website traffic, brand awareness, new customers. We landed a contract with Dick's last year, so you can also find our shoes on Dick's website. We're in some regional retailers, hopefully even more regional retailers soon. So we are on an aggressive growth track. One of the business requests or asks at the end, we'll just jump ahead, is I'm currently seeking a co-founder. So if you know anyone that's excited and passionate about the sport of wrestling, or what we're doing, women's sports even, I'd love to talk to them. Having a co-founder is going to make me more attractive to and seeking investment also. So we need the investment so that we can continue this explosive growth. 2024 sales were way up this year. Since we do e-commerce, we do pop-up retail. But we also in 2023 launched team sales, which is kind of the next iteration. So that's another ask. If you know any athletic directors, wrestling coaches that want to make sure their girls team are properly covered. We've sold a lot of custom sports bras. Women cut singlets are very important to have. So we're really trying to grow our team sales division. We do have a sales rep down near Sacramento, but nobody up in the north. So we want to grow our wholesale and retail footprint, continue to grow through e-commerce and as well as pop-up retail. So if you, again, know anyone or you have any big events there in town, I would love to come set up shop and support your event. So this just kind of goes through team sports. We're really giving this a lot of gas this year because it's a 60% margin business. And again, the growth is right there. In Kansas, they just approved wrestling at the junior high level last year. So we've seen a lot of growth in this division at the junior high level because they had nothing. They had no women's cut singlets, no sports bras, nothing to support their girls teams. We also became like a Cliff Keen dealer. We sell Shock Doctor mouth guards. So a lot of this is more for our pop-up retail so that when kids are at these events and invariably forget things, we are there to support them. So kind of as I mentioned, we're currently seeking angel investors. We're looking at, and I'd love your advice on this. So the whole premise of my company was about, supporting women and having fashionable and functional shoes. I've got a couple retailers telling me that black and white is their most, the largest seller. I'm struggling with the brand messaging around that because it could be seen as more of a unisex shoe. So it's just a struggle right now. I'd love your thoughts on that. I have added, since I put this together, some couple stateside suppliers. If you know any manufacturing companies that would do private label, right now I import the apparel. It is, has our brand on it. But of course, I would love to support stateside. So, and then the other thing, I mentioned pop-up retail. I struggle with the logistics of that. So let's say you did have a big event in Chico and you said, wow, we would love for you to come out. We'd love for you to support our team. Getting product from Kansas City to Chico, California it's kind of it's a struggle, right? I mean, because you sell more if it's there. It's an impulse buy a lot of times. And so it's a struggle. It's something I'm still working through. So that's all I have for this morning. I appreciate your time and I'm open to any thoughts or feedback from you guys.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so
awesome.
much for being here with us, Deb. You go ahead and drop your screen and we'll kind of get just a tad bit more intimate and kind of feel free
Yeah,
to have our questions. Cool. So,
So,
before you get started, Eva, I'll kind of start off with a question. So are you thinking of expanding your product line past wrestling, or is it mainly geared towards wrestling gear?
that's a great question. So the overarching brand is about women in non-traditional sports. Another really growing sport for girls and women is football and flag football. So but again, it's all a function of cash. And so if I can find that investor, then yes, we can definitely expand into other lines. I even had somebody say that it's hard to find girls' soccer shoes. That one kind of surprises me because, again, I mean, girls' soccer's been around a long time and there's a lot of teams. And again, plug for Kansas City, we have the first women's soccer stadium. So kind of cool that the Casey Current.
Okay, we'll open up questions. Uh, I see. Kent, go ahead.
Okay, I put a link in the chat to some conventions. I did a search
Awesome.
for like women's sport uh, apparel, and that link will show various things. Magic, I think, is a big show in August.
Yep,
I think there's
yep,
some,
I do need to make it. People have brought up Magic. I'm going to the National
yeah,
Sporting Goods Association meeting this, I leave Sunday for Phoenix. But I don't think it's as big as like a Magic,
yeah. There's a bunch of there's always a. It seems like there's a convention every weekend. There maybe multiple conventions. Uh,
right?
so I live here now. I used to live in Chico, so that's hence I'm visiting.
Nice. No, gosh, I really appreciate that. Yeah, Dallas, Vegas. Yeah, this is amazing. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that link is probably going to spam you with the please let us send you notifications. So you don't do
Right?
that.
Yeah, no, 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 I won't do that, but I am gonna email it to myself
Sure.
so that
Yeah.
I can make sure I find it.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Kent. Anyone else?
good morning. This is Eva, and I'm sorry about my voice. I have been sick. Great to get this update. Great to hear about this. I think that you are on the cusp of something big. It can be hard to break in to the top 8, right? But it seems like there's been more and more new folks coming on the horizon when it comes to athletic shoes just in the last 5 years. So I'm sure you probably talked about that in your presentation. I was a little late due to another fire. But with that said, one of the first things that comes to mind for me when looking at partnering, right, for influence, right, in non-traditional sports would perhaps be with some colleges, maybe, and some collegiate athletes that are also promoting these non-traditional sports. But let me know if I'm off base. Like, have you already explored that, or?
No, I like the way you think. I'm actually the official women's wrestling show, the NAIA. So I went to
Yeah.
Baker University, which is an NAIA school. Um, honestly, I haven't gotten a ton of return on investment because what I find at the college level is they're already sponsored by huge brands. So Nike might sponsor every team in that, and their contract states that they have to wear specific gear. So from a team sales perspective, I don't know if I'm going to get much traction, but I'm hoping to get, in fact, there's a girl, well, she goes to Grand Canyon. She's one of our influence brand ambassadors, and I'm having dinner with her on Sunday. So yeah, we have a few. I mean, that's one of like my use of funds when I get an investment is to find even more high profile athletes, like potentially
Right.
one of the girls going to the Olympics, or because I had an Olympic hopeful, she didn't, she was eliminated at the Olympic trials, which is a huge, horrible, I mean, it's a very, very tough meet, but she's going to retire. I need to replace her.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I like the way you think.
Okay. And then the other thing I was thinking about, we're looking for stateside manufacturing. I mean, you're in Kansas City, and that is just a mecca of entrepreneurial goodness.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, I mean, with the Kauffman Foundation and obviously one of their spinoffs being the programs being this program. Yeah, it would be. There's a ton of money coming out of the administration in grants for advanced manufacturing. There's a ton. And so it'd be interesting to kind of do and I don't know where this information resides, maybe with the EDA, but who's going after advanced manufacturing? Economic Development Agency is the EDA, if you're not familiar with them. I say that acronym and people ask me, 50% of people ask me what that means. So that's the only reason why I'm supplying you with that information. They're federal, right? And there's a ton of money coming out of the administration right now for all sorts of projects. It's not just infrastructure, right? And one of them is advanced manufacturing, and as we've seen a little bit in the news, but should be highlighted more, is that more companies are starting to bring manufacturing back stateside, like Apple, believe it or not. Now, is it a mad rush? No, because it can be hard to make those changes overnight. But for a smaller advanced manufacturer that's looking to pivot, this could be something really interesting. The apparel industry in the United States is mostly in LA and New York. But and this is my ignorance, where's the shoe industry? Like the textile industry used to be in the Carolinas. We all know that's no longer, right? For us old people, we know that's no longer. But is there a shoe manufacturing industry here in the US other than handcrafted?
Yeah, that's all I found when I was starting my business was like shoe cobblers in the back alleys of New York City. So, I mean, I think every brand manufactures in China or overseas. I mean, that's where mine are made.
But there are some plants here in the United States. Oh, okay. Now it's coming back to me. Keen has they had, where was it? They do have one in Thailand, that is correct. And it's fully robotic, believe it or not. But they have another one here in the United States. I want to say
Keen.
Correct. Okay.
Huh.
And they make outdoor, like they make Teva style shoes, they make hiking boots, they make cross runners, things like that. They're very well made, by the way. So, and I actually know the guy who used to be the VP of operations for them. He's in a different industry now, but I will ask him. Okay. Deb, I will ask him. His name is Scott. And I'll ask him where Keen manufactured stuff is, because they also left a lot of empty space behind. So not only did they have like more than one plant, they kept one plant here and then they opened up one in Thailand. The only reason I know that is because he's the guy that did it.
Gotcha. No, what's your background? You've got a lot of really great information.
Oh, excuse me. So I'm the executive director for Chico Start, and I'm a chapter lead for one apps, and I'm also the director for the Center of Entrepreneurship at Chico State, not to be confused. Chico Start. 30 years in the Bay Area doing startups, everything from video games to underwater robotics to aviation. So yeah. But I work with entrepreneurs all the time. So I have little pieces of knowledge tucked away about things that maybe or might have been. So that's the only reason why I pulled that one out, because I just talked to that guy actually within the last 6 months. So I will touch base with him again and get back to you, Deb.
Yeah, you brought up the grants. I mean, you see a lot of like through Hello Alice and I Fund Women and grant opportunities, and it just feels like a big black hole. I mean,
oh yeah, it's hard.
I think I got to be a finalist for one. I can't remember which one it was, but I mean, again, I had to, like, second step was record a video and I haven't heard anything. So
Yeah.
it does seems like a big black hole. So, but I haven't really looked into federal grants, and I started my, women-owned small business certification, which will
Good.
certainly help
Right, definitely
with
will.
those.
So
It's such a process, right? I mean, you have to
it
get
is.
firstborn.
It's a time suck. It is really a time suck. So one of the partners we have at Chico Start, and you can find them on our website, is opengrants.io. And Open Grants they call themselves the Netflix for grants. And
Interesting.
yeah, in other words, you fill out a profile and hopefully they send you things that are in the genre of what you want, and not like, how to build a missile or something, or how to get contracts with the DoD, you're going to, and in there's a lot of virtual tools. And when I mentioned, I'm going to take a step back. So go ahead and check that out. We pay for that tool for other people to leverage it for free. So I would say go check it out, build your profile, etc. I will take a step back and talk a little bit more about the EDA. You can go up to their website and look for, I'm pretty sure you can, look for grants under advanced manufacturing and look at who's won them and for what reason. Because that could give you an idea of who to partner with, right? Or who to go after to have a conversation with, if indeed any of those, not say they do, if any of those actually fit, right? You could also do that with state-related grants. And state-related grants are going to, and people who get state grants are quote unquote rewarded for working with other state-related partners. Oops. So when I think about that, I don't know what kind of manufacturing or apparel is in Kansas or Missouri. Are you Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri?
I'm on the Kansas side.
Okay, got it. So that's something else to look into too. And I know there's a ton of economic development stuff coming from the USDA that have been granted to all sorts of towns and cities in almost every state to help develop small business, especially women-owned, BIPOC, veteran, etc. So the fact that you're working on certification is awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember.
That's what I'm looking for. You don't necessarily have to have that. If you're a woman-owned business, you're a woman-owned business. What I mean is that it's not going to preclude you from looking at those,
Right.
Right.
Hey, another
But
quick question just for whoever. One thing I need to do just through pitching to various angel groups is I need some IP, and we did develop the sole for our shoes. So I'm going to apply for a conditional patent. I mean, the law firms, they want $2,000-3,000. Is that something you can do on your own, or would you definitely recommend an IP attorney to help with that?
Does anybody else want to comment on that except for me?
Nah, I don't know too much about IP.
Okay. So you can file your own. It actually, what they do is part of the money that you pay a lawyer for is doing the patent search. Okay.
Right.
And to make sure that you wouldn't be infringing on others or wouldn't be a waste of your time and that kind of. So in that effect, it is actually worth your time and your money. It's a lot of money, but believe me, it's not nearly as much money as some of the other quotes I've heard.
Okay, no, that helps me.
Yeah, that also means that they would also help you file all that stuff too. You can go up there today and file for a provisional and spend 200, and I think last time I did it, it was like mid to high 200s for someone, but that was right before COVID. So it might not be much more. I would doubt it'd be much more. So if you wanted to start that process, it's not the most intuitive website, I might also add.
Right. Okay.
But that's government related, right?
Yeah, I mean, the big bucks come after that year when you have to just decide, is it a design patent? I can't remember the other one she was telling me about, but there's two forks in the road, and you have to pick one after a year. So
Yep, that's correct.
Did you have something? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Eva. Finish.
And then you need to decide, like, say hypothetically you've got it, right? Say like hypothetically you've got the patent or whatever. Then you need to decide, well, do I want to be, do I just want to license my design to others and get royalty? Or do I want to like really control the whole thing?
Right.
I mean, that's a very different business model. It's not a bad one, I might add.
Right.
So,
Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool.
okay, I'll shut up now. Go ahead, George.
Okay. Kent, did you have something to add? All right.
Yeah, I was going to mention Printful in North Carolina does print on demand stuff. They have a variety of products. They have team shirts. They also have some back to school type things.
What's the name of their
Overall,
site?
Printful with 1L.com. They do high quality stuff. I've had stuff, all my stuff that I ever do, t-shirts and things, come out from them because they're consistently good compared to alternative. There's other places like Zazzle and Cafe Press, and Printify has partners. I think there's Monster Digital is one of their company. They're a different model, but they might have more products that might, if you wanted to do some special thing, they might actually do it, like shower curtains or weird things like that.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily I found a team dealer. He reps several different brands, and I actually have two dealers, and through them I can do like team stores, and it's all drop ship, which is amazing. You can make money in your sleep. That's always a good thing. But then I can also, another option to present to potential customers, like, hey, we can get one of these two different manufacturers of singlets. It just kind of depends on what your preference is.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I looked at that EDA thing. It's what did I see over there? Well, anyway, where'd it go? Here we go. Oh, I lied. Oh yeah. Yeah, Economic Development Administration. Yeah, EDA.gov. So you should be able to find stuff over there.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, that's about it.
No problem. No problem. All right, Deb. So any other questions from anyone else? Well, Deb, I did want to ask, we do have a few hopeful entrepreneurs here today with us, and I was kind of curious on, creating an athletic brand can be I'm guessing daunting considering some of the big dogs who are in the industry. What kind of motivated you to get started, and what kind of made you differ, and how important was that why factor in creating your brand?
Right. That's a good question. So it's always a God thing, right? So I had a conversation. I have a really good friend, and she's one of those people that everything she touches makes money. And she just happened to say that she was doing some private labels things and she was going to sell on Amazon. So when I discovered that shoes for girls didn't exist, I reached out to her and I said, talk to me about like how you're sourcing. So she sent me to this like online class that taught me about sourcing, negotiating, supply chain, the marketing piece, the box insert, creating a cool looking package. So it was just kind of a self-immersed, you know, up till 10, 11 o'clock at night because I haven't had until recently a day job. So yeah, it's just a lot of like learning, teaching, asking questions. I mean, and again, I mean, I learn something new every day. So, but I think, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just an entrepreneur at heart. I knew the big guys are out there, but I look at them as more of an opportunity. Like, hopefully I can become a thorn in their side and they buy me in 5 years. Right? That's the goal there. I mean, I did, I've had some emails from people at A6 or whatnot, and my attorney shut it down. And, just things like, there's always going to be things like that. But for the most part, it's been a good experience. I mean, yeah, I go through like everyone, like, gosh, am I crazy? What am I doing? All my money's tied up in this. My financial planner has anxiety. Like my retirement is now not with you. It's when I sell my company. So, but I mean, I've just met some amazing people and they are great about, just support groups. I went through 10,000 small businesses, which is a really great, it was basically a deep dive kind of MBA. It's underwritten by Goldman Sachs. They don't write checks, but it's a really intense free program. And we did everything from creating customer personas to 2 weeks of deep dive into your financials to, I mean, it's a good program. So it's something else to look into. But again, I mean, yeah, somebody brought up, I mean, Kansas City is a very vibrant entrepreneurial town. So there's a lot of resources.
And what was that program that you mentioned again?
It's the website's 10ksb.com.
ASB.
It's 10,000 small businesses. And so it's supported by Babson, which apparently I've never heard of Babson College, but apparently it's like the entrepreneurial school in the United States. So I mean, gosh, when did it start? February, and we ended in New York. Goldman Sachs flew every person in the cohort to New York City for another week of classes and to pitch. We got to do our pitch presentation. It wasn't, again, nobody was writing checks, but it was again to just kind of talk about what we've learned and how we've perfected that pitch deck. And what it gave me was a really clear understanding of like the forecast. I kind of just skipped over it, but where I want to be, how I'm going to get there. And, one thing I learned probably too late was, sometimes you just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And now I always go back to that customer persona. Who am I selling to and where are they at? So that would be, if I'm going to tell anybody anything that I learned, like start with that. What's your product? Who are you selling to? And where can you find them and market to them? Don't just throw spaghetti at the wall.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. Great advice. I'll open it one last time for the rest of the crowd. If not, we can wrap up. Any other questions? Okay. That's fine.
Go see my friends that played against sports.
Played against sports. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Played against sports here. It's here in Chico, right? Yeah.
It's here in Chico.
I
Yeah.
heard about it. Okay. Cool. We'll
So
check this.
I
you want
do
to see
have a
those shoes
question.
firsthand.
Most definitely.
Hi, my
Hey.
name is Cherie. Deb, I was on when you came on the first time in
Oh,
2021.
awesome. Perfect.
So it's really excited to see your growth. I'm really excited for your company.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to actually talk or mention, like, have you thought about, I know you said that you're looking more at colleges, but it's kind of harder with the partnerships that they have. Cause I know here at Chico State, we are Under Armour
Mhm.
and Champion, and Champion is what our athletics wear. But have you thought about reaching out to junior high school and kind of giving them like team deals? Because I know my son does AAU soccer. So girls cleats, yes, that's a very, very hard thing. But even if you looked into the AAU leagues, because they have less stringent partnership rules than the high school. And so I know for my son, we partner with a program called Got Sports, and they order the whole AAU leagues gear and everything. So maybe finding you a partnership like that might be help you get the traction you need and find the type of investor you're looking for. It kind of came to mind. And then my cousin, his name is Nishan Garrett, and he has recently won the Olympic wrestling divisions 4 years in a row. I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he has any female wrestlers, maybe at the Olympic level, who he knows are going to be participating, and see if I can get you a connection. And I'll send that information through George.
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up AAU. They're a target of mine because Not in Kansas. Kansas is USA Wrestling, Kansas, but
Mhm.
Iowa and Nebraska are bigger AAU states. I think Florida is another AAU state. I just talked to someone in Florida yesterday that they're having a big program, and again, so some of these, like in Florida, there's one of my competitors is paying $35,000 just to be at a tournament. So it's, I've
Mhm.
got another competitor that goes through, I think it's like Worldwide Wrestling. They do like Reno Worlds and Tulsa Nationals, and they paid 110,000. So it's a lot of that, like to be at the event, you have to pay a lot of money. But if I can be a vendor for AAU or support them in some way, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's an organization that's definitely on my radar. Because USA Wrestling is completely owned by Nike. They paid something like $650,000. I
Mhm.
mean, insane amount of money to be the one and only vendor for anything USA Wrestling. So yeah, it's very pay to play, which is so yeah, some of the grassroots kind of organizations, like if I can get into a tournament that has 1,000 kids, I mean, those are very beneficial.
That's what I was kind of thinking. And then like if you do take the grassroots bootstrap route with the growing of your company, ultimately kind of like Champion was at Walmart and now they're like the People's Choice higher price brand clothing. Same stuff.
Mhm.
Same stuff. It's just the kids who grew up with it now price it at a higher value, even though it was 25 and $10 at Walmart. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Like, even if you were to go to the junior highs and you attend their matches and you support them or help the girls put on like bake sales or use your marketing channels to market their stuff, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like
Mhm.
in return, they'll wear your, wear your brand, or you could get more girls to take photos in your stuff. And then I was actually going to mention, have you ever thought about expanding out from just the wrestling shoe, maybe to like track or something similar, like similar to what you're already creating, just one modification to it to expand your target audience?
Yeah, we talked about that early on. I don't know if you were on yet, but another growing sport for women and girls is football and flag football. And so that's another. Now again, I've been watching it, and Nike's and the NFL's putting a lot of money into it. So I may be a little bit late on that, but I mean, definitely the overarching brand is about non-traditional sports. Like, I mean, gosh, when I was in high school, you would never even dream of a female wrestler. Um, so that's our overarching brand. I mean, we try to diversify, and we've sponsored like power lifters. I have an MMA fighter. She's probably my most high profile athlete right now. Her name is Miranda Maverick. She has about almost 100,000 Instagram followers. I got her when she had about 10,000 Instagram followers. So, but yeah, I mean, definitely, again, it's all a function of cash. I got to find an investor and then think really big. But
You got
again,
it.
I don't know if you were here when I showed the black and white shoe. I mean, the whole focus of my company is about men supporting girls and girl sizes, and but I've got retailers telling me they want, because it expands the market, a unisex shoe in black and white. And I'm struggling with that just from a brand perspective. I don't want to get away from my brand, but on
Mhm.
the flip side, on the business side, I could sell more shoes probably if I had a black and white offering. So
Right. And I mean, I think it's a kind of, I struggled that too with that too in my business. And I think that having, your core values and the reason for starting be known, like, yes, I'm a female brand for non-traditional sports, but I think to expand at the level that your business is growing, it would be beneficial to include the unisex shoe because that potentially opens you up to more investors.
I know, that's just it. So I mean, I have my marketing firm that I work with. They came up with the slogan, "Every foot finds their power." So kind of
Hmm.
it's not getting away from it. It's just saying, hey, we support the sport. We're mainly for girls. We really want to make sure they know they're seen. They have their own stuff. They don't have to wear boy shoes anymore. But every foot finds its power.
Right. I like that. And I
Yeah.
was gonna say, You know, a lot of athletes nowadays suffer from like having flat feet. So if you could find a way to maybe put like some arch support in the shoe, that would be another way to target athletes who suffer from like foot issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
I
a
agree.
yeah.
With wrestling shoes, I actually have a couple. I don't know if you can see them, but they have to be pretty flexible. This one has stuff in it, but they have to be really flexible. So an arch support, depending on if it was hard, you know, some of them are kind of hard. You the wrestlers has to be able to be on the mat and like pivot pretty quick. So
Yeah.
I love that idea. I really do. And I'm looking at upgrading the insole because the girls that wrestle really hard, they're getting a little hole in the toe. So
Yeah.
I need to figure out something to upgrade that.
Well, good luck to you. I'm really excited to um, just kind of watch your growth. It's a very successful business. I'm gonna go to Play It Again Sports and look for the shoe because I've been waiting for you to get them over here because you had the black and they were like black and yellow, black and gold version when I first saw them. And so that's I want a pair so I can go to the gym and I need a new pair of gym shoes. So this is perfect.
Yeah. Alex was the person I met. But yeah, they have brand new stuff. I never knew that about Play It Again Sports. And my strategy with them has been more on the line of like selling them my closeouts, which is still going to be my strategy, but I mean, even the closeouts are brand new. So
Have you thought about maybe getting into like or trying to get into like Ross and Burlington and TJ Maxx?
I haven't, because I'm not sure. Usually when girls go buy shoes, they go to Dick's or Academy or a sporting goods store. Or a lot of people just buy them online anymore. I mean, the bulk of our sales are on Amazon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was just thinking because I know sometimes when I go to Ross, they'll have like old retro Nikes or Jordan or Coach or Steve Madden. And so people will grab those and grab them at half price instead of going to, say, Dick's or a sporting goods store to get the shoes. I know I've gone to Ross and Burlington to just go see if they have soccer cleats, which it might be a hit or miss, you know what I'm saying? But that's better than paying
You know, I do like that.
$75.
I was thinking last night, I've still got, probably 30 pairs of closeout shoes downstairs. So I was like, God, who could I liquidate those to? And Ross could be a really great option for sure. So
Yeah, because I know a lot of parents take their kids there to go back to school shopping. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, like when people are preparing and getting ready to go back to school shopping and the kids are wrestling, because my nephew wrestles for Woodland High School. And so like in areas that we know wrestling is big, if you could kind of, I don't know what type of research tools you have access to, but there should be a way to tell how many kids are participating in wrestling based off of their like census demographic. If they're low income and minority but they have a high wrestling population, that potentially could be a neighborhood that you go into and you know what I'm saying, or you call around to see where the shoes are being offered at, and then maybe discount, get in kind of along that grassroots movement. Because if you're the people's choice, you can knock Nike and Champion and everybody out of the way. You just got to give yourself enough time to grow and to be known, you know, which you've been doing that. And
I
that's all I
need
have to say.
I need to create a fad, and somebody gave me the name of a book on how to do that. That's one of my competitors. They're called Rudis, and they've created a fad. They're like kind of like Nike, all of the Nike shoes, right? Like they create a fad. Like everybody has to have those cool shoes. I need to create a fad for my shoes. So somebody gave me the name of a book. I just can't remember what it is now, but um that's kind of on my list to create a fad, make my shoes the cool shoes, and everybody has to have them.
Right,
I
right.
thought with
It'll
those leopard print, the beast shoes, that I was hoping that's what would happen, but I mean, we've sold a lot. They're probably our best seller, but yeah. not to the level I'd want.
Understandable.
Okay, I think we'll have one more, Kent, if you want to go ahead real quick.
Yeah, I was thinking, I used to be the AV guy over at Frontside, which is a gun school over in Pahrump. They've since closed down. Prairie Fire has taken their place. Long story. COVID didn't help having people show up at our range in close proximity. So that I think that put a damper on them, among other pressures. But a lot of the women that would show up, because it was a lot of families would go there and they learn how to shoot safely and everything. And they'd be wearing pink camo shirts in like a girl style. And I put a link in the chat to a women's shooting sport clothing vendor. He didn't have the pink camo, but he had some things that were maybe an interesting thing. You might try a camo pattern or something. I don't know, just kind of a
Ooh, I like that. Like a camo.
military, outdoor, whatever,
Yeah,
prepper type.
I like that. I think the next ones I didn't have a picture, but they're kind of a mermaid looking theme. So
I
I've been
like those
researching
lacy
like
things.
what is cool about mermaids? What's powerful about mermaids? That's what I've
Right.
been researching. So
Okay. All right.
I I just wanted to add on to I believe her name is Cherie's point about Ross and TJ Maxx. Um, on TikTok, like people would go into like TJ Maxx or Ross and be like, "Oh, I found this really cool travel bag." So like I think that would also be a cool option if like you can have one of your sponsees go into TJ Maxx and you have like your shoes there and they can be like, "Oh, I found these really cool wrestling shoes," and it will bring a lot more attraction to the
that's a
people.
really good idea because yeah, if you guys know any female athletes in your area, female wrestlers that would be willing to walk into Play It Again Sports, I mean, if they sell out, they're going to reorder from me, right? So, so if you know anyone, I will definitely. We're always looking for brand ambassadors, and they can apply really easily on our website.
Yeah, no, Chico is really big with support, and Chico is really big with like homegrown and local to the points to where our kids know where we shop and that's where they'll go. And that's why I was thinking about like areas, especially if you're trying to hit Northern California, anywhere from Sacramento up, if you get into the Rosses or TJ Maxx or Burlington, it's going to have that effect. And I don't know if I know any female wrestler kids in Chico, but I don't know if you know who Ava Knight is. She's one of the female MMA fighters under Floyd Mayweather. She's from Chico. And so we could potentially talk to her about doing a quick short video because she loves to support non-traditional female sports.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I just wrote her name.
Okay.
So
Her name is Ava Knight, and then the other person's name, his name is Nishan Garrett. You can look him up, and he recently won the Olympic wrestling title, and he's been all over the world in the last 7 years. But he started here in Chico,
nice.
so that's like Chico is a good place to like get momentum going, and then it will help you expand.
Right. Awesome. Perfect.
Most definitely, most definitely. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Deb.
Yeah,
for,
no, thanks. You guys gave me some great
I-
ideas, and I really appreciate you.
Most definitely, and I think vice versa. We were able to get a lot of good tidbits, and just seeing how far you come into this journey in such a short time is very inspiring. So, look forward to seeing you progress past where we are today. Of course,
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
of course.
I'm on LinkedIn if anybody wants to link. So
All right, sounds good. Yes. You can
okay.
type it in the chat for the and anybody can go ahead and copy and paste that while I kind of just go through this last wrap up for today. Again, of course, thank you all. A big thank you from me, myself, of course, as your host organizer and our chapter lead, Eva Shepherd. Um, Also a big thank you from our community sponsors, Chico Start, Grow Tech, Global Entrepreneur Network, Build with Ferguson, America's SBDC, and Startup Grind. We do have a few events going on at Chico Start. You You can find these events at chicostart.com/events. We have a Grow with Google in Spanish coming up this Thursday, as well as leveraging AI, Chico Start Lunch and Learn in Glen Groves, Monday 20th, or May 20th. So feel free to check out again, chicostart.com. And you can find that information under our events tab. Again, 1 million cups. You can join our newsletter there again at chicostart.com. And then just to end off with a quote that I found, entrepreneurship is about turning what excites you in life into capital so that you can do more of it and move forward with it. Richard Branson. So I think Deb, you are epitome of entrepreneurship, and thank you for being here today. And I just want to wish you the best of luck, and everyone else, I wish you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.
Of course, thank you.